Hey guys, what's going on? It's a Blockable right about now. I am recording late, so I'm trying to keep my voice down, to a minimum. But I want to show you guys what's going on in the markets right now because, as you're aware, interest rates have continued to be paused in the markets. We did get that really good news with the Ripple case. The SEC has dropped the case against Ripple. That doesn't necessarily mean, this is according to Jeremy Horgan, mind you, doesn't mean Ripple have agreed to that. So there's still uncertainty, there's still doubt. We've still got the tariffs as well being imposed on the 2nd of April. We've also got quantitative easing as well coming around April the 1st, which is kind of bullish. However, I've just retweeted this now from Bravos Research, really good account to follow anyway. They do the research, put it this way. So we've had this alert, Ethereum just triggered a death cross. So this is what happens when the 50-day moving average crosses below the 200-day moving average, which is an institutional 200-day moving average. So that's typically where institutions tend to buy. So it's not looking good for altcoins at all. Altcoin season could be cancelled. So as you know, I am a big fan of fundamental analysis when it comes to traditional markets. So that's any sort of Fed meeting which we've just had. And I'm also looking now, this is what I'm looking for. Like, I'm always trying to anticipate when the markets are going to begin rallying. That's what I want to know. You guys are watching these videos as to gain a sort of indication of when you guys are expected to make the money in the market. So I'd be looking now for this Fedwire implementation. This is with ISO 222 coins, so this will be like the likes of XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, IOTA, etc., etc. So the Fedwire is due to go live. Implementation is from the 10th of March to the 14th of July. So I would expect the 14th of July, that could possibly be the big bang. Okay. Now, let's dive into the charts. This is Xcn now. So what I'm looking at now and what I was initially looking at was obviously this sort of bull pennant. Yeah, very self-explanatory. We've been looking at this now for months. So this is a sort of bull pennant we're looking at. Yeah, absolutely bullish. So it looks as if, in my view, it's bullish charting. Yeah, 65-75% chance of it flying up to the upside. But we know we've been stuck in this sort of, falling wedge for a long time now, in my opinion. Yeah, we've been in this falling wedge since this high around 26th of January. Yeah, so that's what size that, like 2 months worth. 2 months worth of negative price action. Now, if I just scroll in for you guys, we did have this sort of fake out, and I'm going to revisit this fake out as to why this price action actually occurred. Okay, but it looks as if we're getting to the end of this apex. Now, the reason why I was creating this apex here, because we set this 4-hour close down here, so we're striking through that. And we've got these closes here, so it's looking really positive. But for me, Xcn at this moment in time looks to be breaking down. Again, guys, everything is probabilities, so this could be a fake out to the downside and then we move to the upside. That could be a possibility, but in my view, it looks as if we're moving lower. Now, I'm going to discuss why. So what I've done, let me just take out this flagpole here. What we did have initially, we did have this other bull pennant which actually broke out successfully. Yeah, so we had this bull pennant, we got to the apex, and boom, that's when we set that sort of local high there back in January, as mentioned. Now, from this previous bull pennant here, I've marked out the 4-hour close. Yeah, well, I've actually marked out the wick here of this previous bull pennant, which is around here. So that's coming in here around 0.0083, around that sort of region anyway. And I've actually placed my buy entries at this sort of price here. Yeah, just above that. So I'm actually buying in at 8.9. This is stipulating 8.77. So I'm at 8.9 is where my entry is, just above this 4-hour close here. So I do believe Xcn is going to visit this close now, which from current price action, if we was to measure down, we're talking, I would say, approximately 24% further downside, which is absolutely gut wrenching. Do you know what I mean? How many people that are holding Xcn will be able to stomach a 24% further correction after being down? We're already down approximately 75, 80%, and that's going from these highs up here, from that local high up there. Current price action, we're currently down approximately 76%. It's very, very volatile crypto coin, yeah. Max pain, max gain. I do believe Onyxcoin will still reach the Fibonacci 1618, which is around 49 cents. I still believe that will happen. But in the short term, we need to be careful, is what I'm saying. And this is why I'm trading 20% of my bag, because if I've got a buy order here for 20% of my total bag for Xcn, it's going to increase my assets dramatically. So, and it helps as well psychologically, mentally. You remain in a good place, because if you continue to bleed, slow bleed at this rate, you're not going to be able to cope, and you'll just cash out. You'll end up buying another asset. Them assets will probably come down even further, and then, you know, by the time it does rebound, the other coins that you've jumped into, for example, like if you're jumping into something like XRP, which has already moved like a 4 or 5x since US elections, it's not going to move as much as what Xcn would move by the time we do get going in the right direction, okay? So, like I say, we're down 76%, and if we was to get down to where my buy order is, that would be approximately 82% overall. Like I said, it's around 24% from here, 24, 25%. Now, I'm going to show you guys, like I've already showed you the pennant, haven't I? But I'm going to get to it, this sort of measured move. Yeah, so this is what I was looking at initially. Yeah, from this sort of bottom of this first pennant close, 4 hour, we got a close there, slow looking positive, and then this is what's happened. We are rolling into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Weekends are usually bearish, especially on a Sunday. It's probably the best time to buy it on a Sunday, because usually on a Sunday there's no volume and it's all in the red. Yeah, and then obviously Monday, if we are going into a bullish week, then it picks up. Okay, so this is what's happening in the market. I do believe Xcn is breaking down now, so I am bracing myself for a crash landing. But, you know, the phoenix has to rise from the ashes. Yeah, so before we get these max gains, we have to incur max pain, and there's still a lot of Xcn holders holding strong. Yeah, so I salute you guys. I take my hat off to you guys. You're doing very, very well. But like I say, for me personally, the way I cope with any negative price action when I'm seeing further structures and patterns actually breaking down, I just withdraw but basically sell 20% of my total holdings for that particular crypto, and then I'll just place it lower. That helps me mentally, so I'm not, you know, a raving lunatic doing, you know, random stuff because my emotions are getting the better of me, is what I'm trying to say. So it's all about managing emotions and expectations. Now, I'm going to get to it now, guys. So this is what I'm seeing now. If I come out of the charts, let's close this down. So this here is an area of interest, this bump in the road here. So I'm just going to highlight this here, this section. Yeah, because that was a fake out on that sort of trend line that was coming down. Now, this is what I'm seeing. I'm on the wrong tool there. Let's get onto that one. That's what I'm looking for. So if we take this recent high, what I'm going to do is plot 50%. You can see the 50% of this full sort of measured move here. It acts really well as sort of support and resistance. So you see from this high here, we're getting these wicks into this sort of 50% level. We get a bounce, we get some sort of consolidation sideways action on the 4 hour chart. We break sort of support, so support is giving way. We retest as sort of resistance now, so we flipped support into resistance. We've come down and we've had an impulse to the upside to test that sort of boundary. Yeah, so resistance is strong there, which is why we're seeing a massive sell-off, and we continue to sell off. So for me, this measured move is actually coming out as a confluential sort of level to where this sort of 4 hour close is coming on this initial sort of bull pennant. So I do believe Xcn has got approximately 24-25% further downside. Okay, and that would be approximately 82% drawdown from the wick at the sort of local high set back in 26th of January, guys. So just be careful, okay, is what I'm saying. So this is where I've got my entries just below 0.009. Place some entries, yeah, it will help you psychologically deal with your position. I'm telling you guys now, if it runs, you still got, say, 80% of your position in it, yeah, and if the market does start running up prior to this level being hit, then it's fine. You can rotate that 20% into some other crypto that hasn't yet moved, yeah, which is down significantly. For example, like something like Velo, for instance, or Stronghold, which both tokens are built on, Stellar Lumen. So the utility tokens at the end of the day. So yeah, that is just my thoughts going into sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this weekend. Again, I'm not saying all this is going to play out within those 3 days, but I'm certainly keeping tabs on this. Yeah, this could roll into next week and continue to sort of slow bleed, because that is sort of what's been going on in the markets now. So if we just draw in our sort of trend line down here, you can see here this could actually take us up until the end of the month. So this could be a slow bleed, is what I'm saying, into the end of the month, going into the sort of 1st of April, when is it QE, which begins, or yeah, I think it's QE, 1st of April with the Fed, and then 2nd of April with 2nd of April with the tariffs. Okay, they're all being imposed by Donald Trump. So there's still some negative price action to be had, I believe. And like I said, just referring back to that tweet earlier with the death cross on ultimately Ethereum, which is the ultimate altcoin that historically in all the other previous bull markets is what gets the market going. So it looks as if we've got some more pain to be had before. And it's so unfortunate. I'm so frustrated, and I'd basically position my portfolio to move sooner, because historically that's what's happened with price action. But for whatever reason, the markets are playing silly buggers, guys, and all we can do is basically adjust and adapt to what the price action is showing us on the charts, guys. I hope that is helpful. But if you found this helpful, make sure to like, share, comment, do what you got to do as always. Let me know below what you guys are doing, whether or not you're just going to hodl or whether you will be placing some sort of buy entries at lower levels. And if you are buying at lower levels, it doesn't necessarily have to be at the level that I've basically described in this video. Yeah, you could be looking at lower. Yeah, there could be lower targets. Yeah, for example, just before I get off, like on the weekly, yeah, I like to look at highs. So this wick here, for instance, you could have some sort of dry powder down here around this wick, and that would bring you out around sort of 0.0044, somewhere around there. You could have entries there. So it's very volatile, coin, guys. But scared money don't make money, as they say in the markets. But again, you still got to protect yourself, because if you haven't got money, it's going to be very difficult to make any money once the bull market does pick back up again, guys. So just be careful. Yeah, I'll be in the block. Until next time, the block will is over and out.